Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Vimbai, Rufai, all our viewers out there. Trade announcement from the U.S. President Trump has announced a trade deal with Vietnam. So remember, Liberation Day was 46% that they lumped on Vietnam. Apparently, it's been reduced to 20%. Now, there's a 40% tariff on transshipped goods that come in from Vietnam. Now, apparently, this is supposed to cut off imports that are supposedly routed from China and other countries through Vietnam, because you know China is setting up shop there. So there's how they will find that out and implement it, I don't know. But they're saying if it comes to another country and you're routing it through Vietnam, 40% tariffs. Vietnam in turn is seeking a market economy status. Right now there's a non-market economy status which essentially addresses dumping and so on. So the US is like, if you don't have a proper free market and it's the states that is propping up your exports, then we're going to apply anti-dumping penalties to you. So Vietnam wants to get off that. And they said this will be hopefully more details. Now, if you look at the numbers, one of the reasons why Vietnam is such a priority, trade between the US and Vietnam was 149 billion in 2024. The US imported just 13 billion or rather exported 13 billion of goods to Vietnam in 24. Look at the imports, 136 billion. So the trade deficit is 123.5, which is the reason why they are such a priority. Now, with respect to the other countries, as to where things stand, we are still waiting. So far we had a trade deal with the UK, another with China, Vietnam. Now the EU is still waiting. Japan is still, I think Japan is on their 6th or 7th meeting. Trump was saying they don't import US rice. Japan responded and said, no, that's not true. We have a rice shortage. We're bringing in rice from the US. India, Korea, don't forget, July 9th is the deadline, and Trump told reporters recently that he's not going to go back on that. Synopsis is just to get to China now, because there's another update that the chip design curbs and restrictions that the US had placed on China, they have been rescinded. So Synopsis is a California-based company that does chip designs. They put out a press release early this morning saying that they've got a letter from the US saying that, listen, you can now sell your chip designs to Chinese companies. So apparently that's part of what's been going down as far as trade talks between the US and China. So Asian markets, kind of mixed, because Hang Seng was down, ASX in Australia down, but the rest of the indexes were in the green in Asia. Going to the UK now, Rachel Reeves, this was some pretty viral stuff. I have to set this up for you. You're going to see Keir Starmer rattling off achievements of the Labour Party. The camera focuses on Rachel Reeves, and she's apparently crying while she was in Parliament. So, and I'll have to give you the background because Kemi Badenoch actually preempted this. But take a listen or take a look.
Labour government, we've got free school meals, breakfast clubs, childcare, got £15 billion invested in transport in the North and the Midlands. With cutting regulation, planning and infrastructure is pounding forward, building 1.5.
We'll give you the Badenoch is doing her back and forth with Starmer, and she actually points to politics is such a harsh, and the UK Parliament, such a harsh environment. With everything she was going to, Badenoch says, look at her, she's pointing at me, she's miserable. She looks absolutely miserable. And then she says, your Labour Party people are saying that she is toast, her career is over. Will you back her? Starmer now stands up and actually doesn't back her, and then starts rattling off all the achievements that they've made, which is what prompted, I'll get to the market reaction after that, but here's what happened before the camera zoomed in on her.
Mr. Speaker, she's pointing at me. She looks absolutely miserable. Labour MPs, yeah, she looks absolutely miserable. Labour MPs, they can point as much as they like. The fact is, Labour MPs are going on the record saying that the Chancellor is toast. And the reality is that she is a human shield for his incompetence. In January, he said that she would be in post till the next election. Will she really?
Prime Minister, she certainly won't. Mr. Speaker, I have to say I'm always cheered up when she asks me questions or responds to a statement, because she always makes a complete mess of it and shows just how unserious and irrelevant they are. But she talks about the black hole. They left a £22 billion black hole in our economy, and we're...
Now, later on, they put out a statement saying that Keir Starmer backs Rachel Reeves. But here's the thing. It was UK gilts that is UK bonds, right, spiked yesterday to about 4.62%. We haven't seen that jump since October of 2022. The FTSE 100, 0.12% drop. The FTSE 250, I mean, they all fell. European markets have generally been on an uptrend, but they were worried. They were like, look, after everything has been going on, is he going to actually remove her? So they now put the statement out, and apparently she's going to stay. But look, yesterday there was apparently a revolt among Labour Party members over this welfare cuts that they were going to make. They revolted, they couldn't make them. And the thing is that they're trying to balance the budget right now, and they have to make these cuts to basically what are subsidies, the winter thing, and so on and so forth. But they're in a hole now because their own party people are going after. So this, I think, apparently they said she was a personal thing she was going through. But right now, the UK is just things are pretty stressful there. All right, to the African continent, we'll wrap up with Africa. President Trump, shout out to Vimbai for letting me to this update. The White House says they're going to host 5 African nations on July the 9th, which, funny enough, is the same date that the Liberation Day temporary reprieve expires. So I just said, let me just put this up there. Gabon, what are Gabon's natural resources, right? Oil, timber, manganese, Guinea-Bissau, cashews and fish. Liberia, iron ore, timber, rubber, gold, diamonds. Mauritania, phosphate, iron ore, fish, oil. Senegal, phosphate, iron ore, fish. So the White House says this is supposed to be for quote-unquote commercial opportunities. And you have to wonder what commercial opportunities they're going to be discussing. Just to compare this to Vietnam, the U.S. imported, what was it, $136 billion worth of goods from Vietnam. Vietnam does electronics, finished goods. Africa as a whole, entire merchandise trade goods, the U.S. imported, I think it was 32 billion, which is, this is back to our electricity conversation, right? About how you have to, Anyway, finally, the IMF, Article 4, the Article 4 consultation, visit to Nigeria. They've upgraded Nigeria's GDP growth projection to 3.4% from 3%. I mean, again, praising the reform, saying that Nigeria needs to upgrade and scale its cash transfers, also keep monetary policy tight, and essentially just stay the course.
Are cash transfers going on?
No, but they have to scale. They said that they're too small.
So how can you scale what's not
No, so
going
what
on?
they're saying is that once, there's the suspension of the minister and all that, when that is properly reinstated, it has to be expanded.
Yeah,
basically,
but
not
it's not
enough.
going on as we speak.
But it's not enough families.
But we have to go.
Yeah.
We seem to have run out of time.
Yeah.
The question to ask with Richard Reeves is, what's really going on with Richard Reeves?
Yeah.
And then Keir Starmer says she will stay on her job for a long time. Will he himself stay on that job for a very long time?
He's a one-term prime minister.
These are the
One-term
questions.
prime minister.
Thank you very much, Rotus.